This exclusive Washington Commanders coverage is being brought to you by BossUp Summer Camp in Bowie, Maryland, from June the 23rd to August the 22nd, 2025. Why choose BossUp Summer Camp? This isn't just another summer camp. It's an investment on your child's future. Limited spots are available. Enroll today. You can reach us by phone at 202-951-5145 or www.bossupsummercamp.com. Now, stay tuned at the end of this video to get more information on Boss Up Summer Camp.
Fun to be back on the field with the players. It really is. And so got a chance to hit that yesterday and today. And all of the things, that we do, it's really developed that practice. And so that could be, from the end of the game of clock today, prior to, we did a umpire alert, where it's a 10-second runoff and starting on the referee's wind and the specifics that go to that. And so those winning time moments for us, like these are excellent teaching times for that. And this is really where the coaches have to nail those. And over again, so many new guys that are with us learning it. And even for the ones that have done it before, to the standard of what we want. And so it's a kind of a cool time for teaching. And I enjoy this time of year to get to know the new guys and what they're about. So let's get rocking. Can we get the guy Gatorade back here, please?
Since there's no hitting, nothing live at this point, can you get a good sense of where you guys are with the D-line and how that's coming together, that group?
No, not from the physical stance. I can from what I've seen, meetings, drill work, the skill sets, that part to go, any potential new wrinkles that we wanted to do, how would we feature guys. But as far as the physical part, you can't. What I can say is on both sides, we've really made an emphasis for them on the strength and conditioning and really putting it into those spaces. Even so much in the early part of the off season, they trained together. So it was sometimes you'd see an offense will go at this time and defense will go at that time. We had some of the big guys training together to really push it together. So we enjoyed that too.
And you guys seem really loaded on the interior, especially. Do you value interior pressure more than pressure from the edge, or?
No, I would say some of it, Nikki, on defensively specifically, is we'll find some roles as it goes to early down run player to more of a pass rusher and who would do all the downs, like somebody like Daron, first down, second down, third, all of them. But there will also be some specific spots for emphasis on the pass or emphasis onto the run. And so that's what I'll look forward to doing through the preseason. We'll get a couple practices against other teams. And those practices help too, because as coaches, we can kind of, hey, let's really emphasize something, and then we'll do that and find some matchups and do that. So those are helpful too, which you don't get during the game.
I know everyone always wants to get better, but how much of a jump or progress can a guy like Daron make in going into year 8?
It's funny that you brought him up, but I walked past him today. I said, man, you've had a remarkable offseason. And I felt that way through the drill work, through the skill. And everyone, you just see something that jumps out differently, that's onto a new space. And I felt that from him coming into this offseason. And I've certainly been impressed by what I've seen so far. In fact, it was like literally today that I said, man, I've really been impressed by the work that you've put in this offseason. And I see it, happening out on the field.
A vet like Debo and a rookie, or not a rookie anymore, but a young guy like Mikey, they're working together after practice?
I think it probably speaks to the the environment that the players have created together. We all know, to be at our best, it's going to take all of us improving. And if that's Mikey asking Debo a certain technique or vice versa, that's really where it takes place. And so we take these times on the field seriously, because it's not just the scheme, it's the individual skill work. If I can help isolate a specific route or a specific release, or Mike in that instance of playing a certain coverage technique, it's one thing to know it on paper, or another thing to be in the classroom. If we were all here together watching it on video, like, we'd have an understanding of what a press technique, what a press corner is. But until you do it, and what can I do? Where's my hands? How do I have to be placed exactly, and be very specific? I think that's where the gold is. And that's why I think the teaching this time of year has to shine on the coaches. And we've got some excellent ones, because they'll get very specific on the certain techniques. Let's try that one again. Let's put the hand into this space. You're not in a rush to get to the next play, or, you see, you guys are all here in season. There's jersey numbers on people, and okay, what are we gonna do with this person here? There's none of that now, and it's just on the skill. And so they're teaching, if they have to do it 4 or 5 times, that's okay, because let's try that one again. Joe was working recently with just maybe 3 safeties or 2 safeties and 1 backer on press technique against a tight end. How do you do it? He's in line, and I thought that's a great isolation of just a few people on a specific skill. And if you magnify that by the whole group, then there's all these little pockets of things, of skill development that's happening that's really important. And this is that time. And we learn a lot from the NBA of what that small group would look like, of a specific 2 or 3 players getting better on something. And so we work really hard at that specific thing, the work-ons.
Hey, Dan, just to stay on the Daron Payne topic, obviously every year you want there to be a level of urgency for all your guys, but for him at this point in his career, how important do you think this season is?
Like you said, they're all big. I just sense there's a space when you can feel it. It's not something that we spoke about to go. Sometimes a marker happens and there's an urgent space to go, and you want to jump into that space. Maybe it was where we think we can get to. You don't know what's different for him. It might be different from yours to Sam's to Nikki's, but once that fire's lit, man, you want to hit it. And I've really sensed that from him, the questions, the understanding of the defense, how good a shape he's in. So he's off to an excellent start.
And to stay on the line with Johnny Newton, he obviously had a full offseason this time
Yes.
as opposed to last year. How have you seen that impact him coming into this?
Yeah, probably the strength, I would say, Ben, because he wasn't probably able to do all the typical strength movements and that he had due to the foot injuries, but I feel like his leg strength and that explosiveness, that's probably what I see the most, the twitch. He's always been a quick person, but now with all the power that goes with it, I do see an uptick in that.
Noah Brown told us after practice today he's feeling back to normal after that sounded like a scary, unusual injury last
Yes.
year. How has he bounced back?
Yeah, he's a really, really tough competitor, and we really missed Noah in some spaces. I'm not, quote me exactly, but there was a lot of PIs against Noah. He's got such a unique ability to go up and contested plays and catches, and so there were 2 plays back-to-back of yesterday's practice of Noah competing against. You saw the length, and I loved seeing those small matchups on one catch of guys working their skills together. But the fact that we can put Noah in a lot of spots, and he's really, really dependable. So probably the thing that most everybody doesn't know is like this is an elite competitor. And so he's got you would think it's a quiet demeanor, but it's a focused one.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach.
Good afternoon.
I know every player obviously has to deal with injuries and being banged up at some point in time, but with Quan kind of playing through the 2 shoulder injuries, kind of what did that teach you about him last year?
Yeah, I knew, obviously, like you guys saw, we limited some in practice, but there was no chance like that he was missing. He is that competitor in that way. So going into the off season after the procedures, we were just not going to miss one step of his healing of that, all the way through. And so he's making great progress on that. But I knew he was a pretty rare competitor. Then you find out like, man, this guy is even tougher than you think. To have them both done at the same time, they were a few weeks apart, but you can imagine some of the challenges that go along with that when you have, 2 shoulders in the off season that you're not able to use at the same time. So I'll leave the space blank there, and everybody can fill that in.
And then
a lot of love from
Coach Whitt spoke pretty highly about where he thinks Quan's ceiling. That's the word we like to use, right? Kind of get your thoughts on Quan's ceiling as well.
Yeah, the physical attributes we've always seen. It probably has, if not the highest vertical, but that type of explosiveness, the speed, how he can burst. And so I thought moving him from nickel to safety allowed some of that natural, playmaking ability to track, to come off the red line, and to use some of that speed from the safety spot. He's certainly fast enough to play nickel, but I felt like that was the right call to move him into that spot. And so once I think he found his home there and all the unique, skills that he has to go. And so I think, like, man, he's going like this. Now I have a whole season under his belt of playing safety. And now, like, I think he's really going to take off. It's the speed and the hitting ability, and you can win with that.
We got to talk to Harris and Wise, and these are veteran players that just came here this offseason, and they both said the culture and the brotherhood is the reason why. What is it you guys do to get veteran players to kind of buy into that stuff right away?
I think first that's you give credit to Adam and his staff. They have such a unique understanding of what the team needs too. And we had said way back, hey, this isn't for everybody, but for the people that are so much about one another and getting better and doing those things, like those are important things to us. Like one of the main things for the players starting off to be here, like, can you be an awesome teammate, like top of the pile? Then it gets into like your role, what that can mean, how good can you get at these specific things, and then we go from there. But it has to be, man, like being a great teammate first. And so like, yeah, no shit, Dan, like that's important for everybody. But how do you live that? And how do you demonstrate that? And how do you show that to one another? Because not everybody's outspoken or, like not like giving each other greeting cards every day. But there's spaces that you fill in that you're helping one another. See how good you can get. And that, to me, is all part of it. I never wanted to be like having a good time and working your ass off to be in opposition of one another. Like, I wanted those two things to happen simultaneously, like having a great time, and we were like absolutely emptying it out to go work hard. And so when I see practices like yesterday, like today, you probably didn't see as much of the speed. We had so much more in the red zone, but like yesterday, it was speed, man. It was the Ashburn relays. We wanted to see how fast we could go without the contact, without that, but how fast we could go. And you push each other to do that. You know, if you were running the route and I'm keeping up, like we are pushing each other, not in a combative way, but definitely in a competitive way. And I do think the players here have created that. Like, man, they do enjoy it. There's a good vibe that we have, but like we also put it in. And if you don't, you'll get exposed pretty quickly because the tempo of which we want to practice at is high. So like if you don't put in the work, it'll look rough for you.
It's a great answer. Thank you.
We got time for 2 more. Go ahead.
I just wanted a scheduling thing. We've now heard from the Patriots and the Ravens are expecting joint practices to go with the preseason game. Have you locked those dates in?
Yep.
Is that stuff coming out? Are the guys all aware?
Sean, is that? But yeah, we're going to practice with New England with a game up there, and we're going to practice with Baltimore with a game here.
With bringing in Harris and then Trey, how much can that enhance what you guys want to do coverage-wise in the secondary?
Well, I think, number one, Joe and Jason and Tommy William, like, of new players, what do they do, where we're at. And so Will's got a unique background, John, because of his experience at corner. And so what does that look like to leave him outside at corner where it's a safety spot and you can play some different techniques? Can he play over a slot? So the fact that he's done those jobs in the NFL, that's a big deal. Think of in your mind like this offensive lineman has started at center and guard in the NFL. Okay, now I know it. That has more value. It can do different things. And so we're still working that through with Will, guarding this person, matching up on the receivers. Where do we put him in the middle? What does he look like in the space? So it'll be ongoing through camp as well, but then we'll get into the roles. But we're not there yet. I would say it's still like the exploring of what, you know, somebody can do.
And then with the defensive line, stopping the run, and what things weren't happening last year that you feel pretty good about with this new group that can. I
don't know if I wouldn't say wouldn't happening, but I love the versatility of the different, you know, guys and how we're going to feature them this year in terms of sizes and strength and how we'll use some of the big guys and how we'll play them. And so, you know, that's to me is, you know, the part that I'm looking forward to, putting those guys into those spots that they can really do their thing, and we're going to work really hard to do that. All right, thank you, everybody. All right, have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Rocking, man. Anybody? Who's first?
Here we go. You guys have added a few guys on the defense, some on the line, obviously secondary. Just what have those changes, what do you think those changes can bring to this group?
You know, we're really excited about the guys that we have, that we added. You know, we wanted to get bigger and longer. We definitely did that up front. We did it in the back end also with Trey. So the vision of how we want to play and how we want to be and how we want to look is more. You're seeing more of it right now from a size and length and speed standpoint. So,
and one of those guys, Javon Kinlaw, what can he add? And just, you know, what have you thought of him over the years? What can he add on that front?
You know, he's a uniquely big man that can bend and play with some power and speed. He will have the ability to move him up and down the line of scrimmage, so we can put him wherever we want to because he has that type of skill set. He'll be difficult for, you know, tight ends to block if we put him in the 6 technique, or if we kick him inside. He has the length that's going to be difficult for guards to deal with as well. So he's an intriguing young man to work with.
Ton of playing time, looking to take a bigger step this year?
You know, I think every year is really different. And so I'm a firm believer of giving everybody an opportunity to play. And so we're going to give everybody looks. You'll see, well, you haven't been here in practice a lot, but there'll be different bodies and running with the ones today that haven't necessarily been running with them because I want to give everybody opportunities. And the only way that you can do that is put those people in spaces to be in there with a Bobby Wagner, to be in there with a Frankie Louvu, to get the calls and how do they react to that. So I don't have any names for you right now, but a lot of guys have been given those opportunities.
Hey, Joe. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
I imagine, you know, we're all wanting to see the guys and seeing, you know, who who looks different, who's whatever it may be with what they've done in the offseason. I imagine for you that's got to be a big deal when they come in for the first time. Were there some guys that for you stood, okay, I can tell they really put in some work or some other things before this all started?
Pretty much, they all going to come back in shape. Okay, it's just because of who we are and what we do. The guy that to me, he just looks really good. He looks intentful. Daron Payne, man, like every day, this dude is. I'm having to tell him, hey man, let's calm down. Like I got in trouble with the head coach yesterday because I challenged the D line and he went after it and I said, Q, that was my fault. I told him to do. He did exactly what I told him to do, and so. I've been really pleased. The walkthroughs, everything that we've asked him to do, and he's a leader. He doesn't talk much at all right, but he is leading by example. And this year, you can really see him taking that leadership role and taking it to the next step. So I would say he's been the guy that's just really stood out to me the most from that standpoint.
And we'll see if Lattimore's out here today. I know he wasn't there last week for us, but like for him, I don't know how much you've been able to see him, but like, what has maybe stood out to you? Obviously, he had the injuries last year, came in midway through the season. What are you kind of hoping to see from him during this part of the offseason?
Okay, Marshawn hasn't been here. We've been in communication with him. So when he gets here, we'll see exactly where he is from a conditioning standpoint. From a mental standpoint, the coaches have been meeting with him, talking with him. And so he's a smart young man, but we'll see exactly where he is when he gets here. I'm doing great. How you doing?
You lose a guy like Dante Fowler, who had 10.5 sacks last year. How do you replace that? A guy that had that type of production, and obviously there's some concern maybe from the fan base of the edge position right now, currently how it's kind of constructed.
I don't think going into the year anybody thought Dante was going to have 10.5 sacks last year. I don't think anybody in here would have said that. And so we'll have somebody to produce a higher sack total than what's thought to be, okay? And so who that person is, I don't know. Will it be a collective of guys? I don't know. But I do feel that our pass rush will be better. I do feel definitely that our run defense will be better. Where will it come from? Which individual? It's too early to say, but it will come.
Hi, Coach. How important is this voluntary period for rookies like Trey Amos who are getting, as you said, time with the ones, time with veterans like Daron Payne?
I think it's really important. I think from a number of different aspects, okay? You have the opportunity to the brotherhood, the building. When we went on that 3-game losing streak, it wasn't anything other than the brotherhood that kept them together, and you start building that now with how we work and how DQ and AP runs this program. And then secondly, the rookies are allowed to meet a little bit extra, so they'll be with the vets in the morning, and in the evening they have rookie meetings, which I'm changing to developmental type meetings, so that they get extra, and they are. And Trey Amos, he's a guy that's ahead of the curve right now and doing really, really well.
Hey, Coach. Jordan McGee seemed to have a pretty good training camp last year, then was derailed a little bit by the knee injury. As you start looking into how he's going to contribute this year, what are your expectations for him?
We really had a package in last year for Jordan, and then he got hurt. And so it sort of took that package away versus 12 personnel. I'm really hoping that he can stay healthy. And there's some other guys at the linebacker position that we want to have some 3 linebacker defenses that we can get a little bit bigger versus 12, not play as much nickel to shore up some of the run on that aspect as well. So I'm excited to see he's been showing great call command, being a linebacker. I believe linebackers, control the huddle and control the defense, and he's learning from Bobby and Oos how to do that.
Hey, Coach.
Hey, how you doing?
When you look at last year and what you all were able to do on defense, what is it that you want to do this year a little better that you didn't see last year?
I think, and I wasn't, and to answer your question, I wasn't really trying to compare the 23 defense to the 24 of, when we got here, there was 32nd and what we went to 13th or what have you. I was trying to let it be standalone. So with saying that, we didn't produce the ball like I wanted to, that I envisioned us to. Now, the reason being, we dropped 16 of them. Literally just balls that touched our hands that we felt that should have been caught. If we catch half of those, that puts us in a different ring. We didn't play the run well enough, and I thought that we would have. And so if we can, and then the third thing, closing games out, it wasn't the way that I was anticipating. And so when we get into the offseason, we look at it in three different things. Okay, all right, was it schematics? Was it the player? Or, or sometimes do we just get beat, So, and then we went from a change, adjust, emphasis, did we need to change some things? Are we adjusting? Are we going to emphasize some areas? And so the turnovers we're going to emphasize because we just have to catch the ball. Some of the things we're doing with the front for the run game, we have changed, and some we have adjusted. And so, and then winning time moments in 2 minutes, we're going to competition every day to get those things better.
Hey, Coach. What are your thoughts so far on rookie Kane Madrano?
Kane, Kane, he's a unique kid because of his receiver background coming in. Is he a linebacker really? Is he a safety? Can he do some of the Jeremy Chin roles? Can he do some of the Frankie Louvu roles? And so we're really testing the kid right now to see, all right, what is he going to be? And we'll really tell a little bit more once we put the pads on. He can really run. Does he have the ability to cover a tight end? Does he have the ability to beat a tackle in the rush? So is he Frankie? Or is he Jeremy, or is he a cross of both? And that's what I'm trying to find out with him.
Speaking of safety, what do you see in your safety group currently?
I think it's a strong group. It's Quan hasn't really been out there because of the injuries, but he's another guy a la Payne that has just come back with laser focus, and the things that he has been able to do has been really good. Will Harris has been a nice addition. He's a guy that can come in and cover. He'll play in the box. I've been pleased with his communication. Jeremy Reeves is a guy that, he's our special teams ace, but I have to find a role for him on defense because he just makes plays, and that's what he's been doing. And then you have T.O., who is a very athletic, rangy guy. Now, what is he? Can he be the Buffalo nickel? Can he knock people back? Can we play him like a linebacker? And so, those are the questions that he has to answer, and we have to answer with him.
What are your timeline for answering all these questions? Is this something you'll figure out by the end of minicamp, or is this all the way through training camp you'll be looking at it?
Because we don't have pads on right now. And then when you're in phase 3 rules, it's really not as competitive. So if the ball goes up and there's any chance of a collision, we're telling the defensive players to pull off. All right, and so, there's going to be some completions that necessary. So I call them, when I talk to the defense, phase 3 completion. So in real football, that wouldn't have been a completion, but since we have to pull off, it is what it is. And so, but until we get into a more competitive, putting our pads on people, you really won't be able to tell. But in this setting right now, we want to hear mind speed. How are the guys communicating? Are we getting to our targets? We don't want people on the ground. We're not going to run any stunts or anything up front because that's when there's collisions and they don't have pads on. So we're trying to be smart from a player safety standpoint.
How much, if at all, are you thinking about the tush push right now?
Oh, at this moment, I wasn't thinking about it at all. But to answer your question, I mean, it's a good play, man. And, if I just go by the rules, and it's a legal play, and they're good at it. And we have to figure out a way to stop it. We play them twice. And so I think we have some good ideas, but, it is what it is. It's a good play. So I haven't really been thinking about it right now, though, but we will. We play them twice, and and they have a great quarterback that can run it. He's a 600-pound squatter, so it's hard to stop him. Yeah.
More of a philosophical question. Mm-hmm. You guys have a lot of talent on the interior of the D-line. Does the interior rush, in your mind, is it more valuable than, rushing from the edge?
I don't think it's more valuable. I think it can play in concert together. If you can push the pocket and get the quarterback off the spot from inside and change and move his eyes, that makes a difference. If he has the ability to step up and get comfortable stepping up, that hurts you. So, but I think just pressure in general is good, no matter where it comes from. But internal and external pressure, are equally.
And the changes up front on the line, does that at all alter the role of Frankie Louvu, like getting him even more involved in the pass rush? Or
the third down, what we're going to do on third down with Frankie, we'll move him like we've always have. I think the additions, what you'll see with Weiss and Kinlaw, Eddie, will be bigger on first and second down. All right, and we'll be bigger versus 12 personnel, 13. When people want to get big, we'll be able to get real big with them. and then and be able to shore up some of the gaps on the front end. So now the backers can play more free, and the guys behind them can overlap. So I think that's what you see. But you won't see a difference with Frankie on first and second down. But when we get into known pass situations, now that's where his versatility really comes out. Yes, sir. So
going back to Quinn real quick.
Okay.
Learning about the 2 shoulder separations that he suffered during last season. Just kind of what did you learn about him during the course of the year and him going through those and still being able to perform for you?
You know, Quinn is what we really stand for here. Okay, he's a guy. They were messing with me because this time last year I set Quinn down. I was like, put him with the 2s. All right. And the coach was like, well, you made a great decision with that one. But the reason I wanted to put him with the 2s is he was making mistakes that we can't afford to make. And then the next 3 practices was boom, boom, boom. He's back in there with the 1s. And then he caught the ball from, I don't know if y'all saw that one, but he caught the ball from his back. And he just, now he's taking a leadership role of communicating at a very high level, which he wasn't doing at the beginning. And I give a lot of that credit to Jason Simmons and Tommy Donatel. They've done a great job of developing him. This kid has the potential to be one of the better safeties in this league, and that's what I'm holding him to. That's what I'm expecting with him because of what he has. So I've been pleased with everything Quinn and Daron. I just want to keep saying that because those 2 guys have come in with laser focus, and they're the leaders of the defense along with Bobby and Frankie.
All right, appreciate it, Coach.
All right, guys, y'all have a great one, okay?
Great. Let's see. Very early on, but what with all the expectations that were exceeded last year, what's just the hunger?
I think they were exceeded on the outside of this building. I'll say the expectations inside the building were very high last year, but no one has put any amount of energy into last year's result or last year's team. It's a completely new group, a lot of new faces. It's a lot of the guys that we need to learn about, connect with, and ultimately we didn't reach our goal at the end of the year. So we have to be better. That's what we're working every day to be better than we were last year.
Year 13 for you in the NFL. What's your secret sauce? Obviously, I see you out there working. You still have a smile on your face. Look like you're enjoying it like it's your rookie year again.
I love the process. I think that is the secret sauce is the work. I have the eagerness to learn and get better. The best thing about sports, the best thing about football is that you're never a perfect player. And so I still feel like there's a lot of things that I can still get better at as a player. And so being able to come out here with a really good group of tight ends and coaches is just something that I thoroughly enjoy. And I tell people all the time, when I stop loving the process, you're not going to see me out here. And so I'm going to be here as long as I love the process and feel like I can help the team win. You'll see me doing everything I can to achieve that. I still feel like I got a few years to do that left.
I remember last year, you called it from last August. You said Jaden Daniels is going to be a good player. He's going to be a special player. You know, last week, Cliff Kingsbury said he's going to take another big step in the right direction. What do you see from Jaden early on in year 2 here in his progression?
He's just so comfortable. So comfortable in the offense, so comfortable with his teammates, so comfortable throwing the ball. It doesn't seem like he's ever surprised, which is incredible considering it's only his 2nd year. He's in complete command of the offense. He knows exactly what he likes and doesn't like, and he's able to articulate to the people that matter what he likes and doesn't like. And he is also a guy, like, he has had so much success in this league already, but he wants to get better. He wants to learn. He's asking me questions. He's asking the coaches questions. And so for me, being a guy like that is someone that you just instantly gravitate towards. I feel like that's why a lot of guys love playing for him.
Zach, last week DQ talked about the continuity, not only of the players on this team, but also the coaching staff as well. How does that continuity help this offense as you all take into this year?
Yeah, we're just not starting at square one, exactly. A lot of times you go to far in the playoffs like we did, and you have a lot of coaching change, and a lot of coaches get poached for new jobs and whatever it may be. So you're learning new coaches, new schemes. You're bringing in something else that not necessarily fits everyone. Whereas this year we're just kind of just rolling not where we left off, but really fine-tuning the details versus the big picture. It's much more granular now than it was this time last year, where you're just trying to figure out what exactly the plays are. Now it's more, how do I run this versus this coverage? How does Jaden want me to run this versus this coverage? And so continuity in this league is big, and it's hard. I think the thing that makes us unique as an offense is there are so many different personnel groups that we're going to be able to present to the defense. What is Debo? Is he a guy that lines up in the backfield? Is he a slot? Is he an outside receiver? John Bates can block anyone, in my opinion, in the league. So is he an offensive lineman? Is he a guy that can run 40 yards down the field on a seam ball? So we just got a lot of guys that have had a lot of success in this league, and so it's up to us as players to go out there and execute it. It's up to our coaches to put us in positions to be successful. I've said it for a long time. I think Cliff is one of the best in the league at putting guys in positions to succeed. He's not going to ask people to do something that they're not necessarily comfortable with or good at. He wants all of us to thrive and succeed, and so I'm excited for the future.
When you have ideas for Cliff, you start making those suggestions now, is it during camp? When do you kind of give him your thoughts?
Frequently. Whenever I think of something, probably too much. I try and do it where it comes out of a place of love and not selfishness, because I never want to be viewed as a selfish player. So for me, it's just a relationship, communication, and it's not only with Cliff. I want to be coached up. I want if Cliff has an idea to run a route a certain way, if Coach Rye has an idea for me to run a route a certain way, I'm gonna do everything I can to get it done the way they want it. Ultimately, it's not about me. It's not how I view things. It's about how Jaden views things and how the coaches view things. So for me, it's not about ego. I'm just trying to be here and win.
Zach, last year, this team might have been under the radar a little bit. Not this year, obviously, a team that was one win away from going to the Super Bowl. What is it like, maybe in the sense to have a target on the back where teams are going to want to try to knock you off?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best part about being here the past 2 years is we got guys that love the process. So no one is going to let any external factor dictate how we show up to work every day. The outside noise is just that, outside noise. And so for us, it's really just about coming out here, trying to get better each and every day. And when the season comes around, we'll see where the chips fall. But right now, I love being here because they got a bunch of dudes that love the process and love competing every day, and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Debo, what's that been like, for them and with us?
Debo's a great dude. You would have thought he's been here for the past 5 years of his career. The way he's just adjusted, and everyone here is welcoming him with open arms. And just being a part of this team, it feels good to have someone like him. As an addition to being able to help add value to this team and help us win ultimately. But yeah, just he's a guy that loves extra work, loves football, loves to win. So any way I can pick his brain and love what receivers do to help myself, I'm gonna do exactly that same way I've done with all the other receivers on this team.
Was there anything specific that you were able to pick up out there?
Yeah, just everyday work, and just kind of talking me through what certain releases, why sometimes you step out, meet you back inside, but just being able to get the repetition of it now, so that way when we're live firing out there, I know what I've done it a million times by that time.
No longer a rookie. How much more comfortable do you feel out there here in year 2 now?
I feel good, but according to guys like Bobby Wagner, until game 8, still a rookie. But no, it feels good being out there. Just this year's just about being able to stack onto what happened last year, and being able to make that second-year jump. And I think it's a crucial time to this age, just 7 years. Just make sure I'm doing everything I can to be a better version of myself to help this team and to
as you digested your work on tape last year, something you've been working on in the offseason, something you're focusing on as you lead up to the old career?
Yeah, I think just watching all of my reps from last year, focusing on the little things that got me beat, and really trying to understand how teams will attack me when I'm either inside or outside, and then just trying to expand my knowledge of our playbook, trying to expand my knowledge of what other teams do conceptually, because ultimately we play whatever happens week 1 of the team that we play next week, like you saw, try to do the same thing the following week. So just being able to understand that the team run the same things other teams do, just trying to expand on.
Mikey, as a defensive unit, you all have so many new weapons. I'll call them weapons on this unit here. When you try to integrate all of that, do you all do anything extra outside of practice to come together, or do you all allow for that to happen organically?
I think it's a little bit of both. Leaders will, invite guys out, let's go bowling, let's go eat, let's go do X, Y, Z. But the goal is bring everybody along as fast as possible. Get everybody on the same page as fast as possible. The quicker you can do that, the easier football becomes. So whether that's in the building, outside the building, whatever way it looks like, we're making sure that everybody's happy.
Coach talked about Coach Whitt talked about being bigger, faster, and stronger this year. Talked about the guys he brought in to try to fit that mold. How are you trying to fit that mold so early in this process this year?
Being bigger, faster, and stronger. Just, putting my work in the weight room with, Chad and the guys. I think the off-season program has, I was able to benefit from it. Just being here with them, like I said, they do a great job with the strength and conditioning. So big shout out to them. Yeah, I think just, being able to focus on what's going to help me to, get faster, stronger, take care of things in the weight room so that when I come out on the field, I'm not worried about, guys on offense who might be, heavier than I am, whatever, but it's whatever's going to help me perform the best.
What have you seen from Trey Amos this season, for this offseason?
Trey, he's coming along great. I think, he's going to be a very special player. I think he'll do special things this year. I'm glad we, were able to add him to the defensive back. I'm excited for him. I told him the other day, keep working how you've been working, and you're gonna love what you see come, the end of the season. Yeah, he's been very consistent, and like I said, I love that we've added him to our team.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Joe Whitt said earlier today that he's really appreciated kind of your focus, your leadership. Have you done anything differently kind of this offseason to kind of be that leader on defense and your approach to this year?
No, I've just been really just trying to work hard, like just coming in, just trying to show the young boys how to do it by just doing it. Just going out, training hard every day, and then reloading in the morning and coming back the next day, trying to do it again.
What do you think about the additions on the D-line? Obviously no more J.A., but you added some other pieces. What do you think kind of about the new look D-line?
Man, we got some big old guys. Kinlaw and Wise and them boys, man, they huge, strong, and can get active on the D-line. So I'm excited. I'm excited to go out there. We got a chance to play a little bit this week, so it's going to be fun.
Just kind of piggybacking off of that, when you have so many new guys to that defensive line room, how long does it take for you all to really come together in jail?
So like right now, we just trying to, OTAs, everybody's trying to learn the plays and really just trying to get that together. And then once we get on the same page as far as the scheme-wise, we just play fast. That's what we're hoping for.
Not to compare or contrast, but how good on paper can this unit be?
Man, if we play the defense that Coach Whitt has installed and do the things that he wants us to do, we can get the best we want.
Going off of Scott's question with impressing Coach Whitt right off the bat, is this something conscious that you said, man, this year I want to step up leader, or did you show up to OTAs thinking I'm gonna with a different attitude than maybe in the past or something like that?
I mean, after the season, you get to talk with all the coaches and all that stuff. And, I know Coach Tapp, he challenged me to be a leader. I feel like I'm a guy. I come to work and do what I got to do, and I get on with my life. But so I just been challenging myself to be a leader, just going out there and just working hard.
You guys have both sides of the team. How important is that? What are some of the keys that?
Keys probably would just be the work that we put in. We just broke it down this year on the technique that we want to play. So we just paying real close attention to our run technique and how we creating a new line of scrimmage and playing with heavy hands and all that stuff.
How much is size?
Oh, size definitely helps. Size helps. We got some big guys in Kinlaw and Wise. They can play big end and play 4-eye and all that stuff, so it definitely helps.
You've been here for the lowest of lows and obviously other end of the spectrum last year, so close to the Super Bowl. What is it like kind of being on the upward trajectory of everybody's talking about the Commanders, primetime games? What is that like to kind of be in this position now?
Man, it's super fun. Just being on the big stage down there every weekend we play. Guys always probably I know they used to single us out because they think they get an easy win. Now they want to beat us, so it's just been fun.
Thanks for having me.
Josh, when you're here, obviously with an offensive line, continuity is so important. How are you all, it's early, but how are you all beginning to come together as a unit?
I mean, definitely starting to work a lot better together. Communication's getting clearer day by day. We just got to continue to keep working.
And for you here, obviously, in your rookie season, we're here at OTAs. When you are working with Jaden Daniels, knowing the impact that he had last year, what are your early thoughts on Jaden Daniels?
Oh man, he's as advertised and definitely a different type of dude. And I mean, I've played with some great quarterbacks, but he's by far like one of the best.
What's been your biggest adjustment so far, going from college life to now you're a pro?
Everything is on your own. You know, I mean, no one's telling you to get up at this time, get up at that time. You have to do everything on your own, make sure you have your own routines, and just stay consistent with that.
I've seen you kind of, gravitating toward like Andrew Wiley, working with him to the side, asking them some questions, various other guys on the O-line. How appreciative are you for them to like kind of help you, show you the ropes with any questions you might ask, and kind of explain that mindset of just trying to learn from guys that have done it before?
Yeah, more than grateful for sure, and that's why I'm glad that I have it. I'm very blessed and thankful for that, because everybody kind of pours into those spring, no matter if it's just on the field, off the field, no matter what it is. It's like finding a place. Everybody kind of helps with everything.
Josh, what's practice like? There's no pads yet for you guys. I know it's a key thing for you, but what's practice like as you guys try to do stuff without pads on?
I mean, I feel like it helps your technique even more. I mean, it makes sure that you're very disciplined with your posture and with your hands, always playing with your hands.
Have you noticed the Conerly challenge on social media? It's kind of taken off with Commanders fans. What do you think about that?
Man, it's awesome, honestly, because I posted that like about a year ago. So for it to like kind of blow up now, it's pretty cool. My little brother sends me stuff, and yeah, so it's pretty awesome.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Hey, future leaders, are you ready for the most epic summer ever? Get set to unlock your potential and have a blast doing it. Welcome to BossUp Summer Camp. Ignite your curiosity with incredible STEM adventures. Dive into the wonders of science, technology, engineering, and math. It's hands-on learning that makes discovering the world exciting and fun. Get ready to build amazing things with your own hands. Learn how to assemble and pilot incredible drones. Experience the thrill of seeing your creations take flight and explore new perspectives. Unleash your inner innovator. Learn to code, create apps, build games, and bring your digital ideas to life. Coding isn't just a skill, it's a superpower for the future. Develop essential teamwork and leadership skills. Collaborate with new friends on exciting projects. Learn how to communicate, problem solve, and work together to achieve amazing results. It's not all work. It's tons of fun too. Enjoy exciting weekly field trips and make memories that will last a lifetime. Every day is an adventure packed with learning and laughter. Don't miss out on the ultimate summer experience. Build skills, make friends, and become a boss this summer. Sign up for BossUp Summer Camp today.